So we were discussing about the difference between ICT and computer science in O levels. As far as the subject name is concerned, when it comes to ICT, it is Cambridge IGCSE ICT 0417 and Cambridge O level CS or computer science 2210. So as you do know that there is a subject code for every subject in O levels and A levels. So these are the respective codes for both the subjects. Now, we are going to look at the difference. I would like to keep it as simple as possible for you to be able to understand exactly what the difference is between the two. Okay, have a look at the slide. It says, what is the difference between ICT or IT and computer science? So generically, what is the difference between the two subjects or the two fields? If you look at the sentence below, it says computer science and ICT are two different subjects, but at the same time have many similarities. So it is not that everything is totally different when it comes to ICT and computer science. Yes, there are quite a few differences in terms of what is suitable or suited to who, but yes, there are some similarities as well at some points. I will not go into the detail of these bulleted points for the time being. Okay, I will rather move on to the next slide. Okay, it says exemplifying the roles. Exemplifying the roles of ICT and CS personnel or professionals. Now, if you look at what's written down there, it says ICT or IT professionals are those who make practical use of the technology invented by CS engineers. So, when it comes to computer science is very much related to programming, software development, writing algorithms, all right, programming machines, new inventions, research in the field of technology, whether it is new gadgets, whether it is some new architecture for a computer, programming devices other than computers as well. Okay, like we know that artificial intelligence is one of the areas which is very much a part of computer science. All right, we have examples of robots. Robots are also programmed devices that perform multiple functions. All right, so basically, when you look at computer science, it is about understanding the machine, its internal working, the components, all right, and be able to program it to make it function in a certain way. And also, when it comes to software development, making different types of programs, maybe new programs, inventing new programs, new solutions, new applications. So it is heavily centered around software development or programming, not only machines, all right, which includes, of course, computers and other types of machines, but also making programs, general purpose programs that are generally used for, different types of tasks in everyday life. So an example of that could be, maybe an airline booking system, okay, or maybe let me give you another example. It could be a school's management system. It could be, any system, any program which is being used in any government organization or department. So basically, all sorts of programs that are out there that people would have developed over a period of time, or if people come up with something new. Let me give you a quick example of software development. Quite a few of us would have used Microsoft Word, right? Microsoft Word, or for that matter, PowerPoint. Now, sometimes we feel, we feel very good about it if you are able to do great things using Microsoft Word, or maybe we are able to make great presentations using PowerPoint. Well, who will be able to do that? Anybody who has a good know-how of the program will be able to use it effectively or efficiently, right? Be it Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, or maybe any other program. Have you ever thought about this that, well, there must be somebody out there who would have created Microsoft Word? Think about that brain. Think about that kind of, a person who would have conceived the idea of Microsoft Word and then created that program that we use for a certain type of task requirement. So, develop people who are developing Microsoft Word are the CS people because they are making that program from scratch, right? Creating a new application. And people who are using Microsoft Word on a day-to-day basis to carry out specific tasks that relate to Microsoft Word, maybe making reports and assignments and things that relate to text, you could say that they are the IT people. They have the right skill to be able to use a certain program for a certain task efficiently and get it done using computers. Okay, so that is one example that I've given you. All right. Okay, now let's try to come up with an analogy here. You know what is an analogy, right? एक analogy draw करते हैं. I mean, let me try to give you an example that I'm going to use to highlight the difference between, further clarify it, the difference between computer science and IT people, or maybe the two fields. Let's talk about a smartphone. All of us have seen a smartphone, all of us use a smartphone, all right? Now, I have a question here. If I have to use a smartphone efficiently or effectively for my day-to-day things, I need to know its features. I need to know what features a certain smartphone offers and how to make the best use of that feature to get that particular thing done that I want to be get done using the smartphone. जैसे मुझे पता होना चाहिए उसका कैलेंडर फंक्शन कैसे काम करता है. How does the calendar function work? How does the camera work? How can I do settings for the camera? All right. How can I make phone calls? How can I set up reminders? How can I set up alarms? Okay. How can I make use of so many different apps that are there on a smartphone? How to create a new contacts list, and so on and so forth. If I know how to manage all these things, then I could say that I am a smart user of a smartphone because I know how to get various things done and take advantage out of using a smartphone. But how about who actually designed and developed that smartphone? What is the, or who is the brain behind the creation of a smartphone? Who designed its internal circuitry? Who designed its processor? How was the processor programmed? Okay, how about the operating system that runs on a smartphone? Maybe if we talk about an iPhone, then the iOS. Somebody must have made the iOS. Okay, if it is an Android phone like a Samsung or any other similar compatible device, somebody would have made the Android operating system that makes that device function. Somebody would have come up with the overall design philosophy of that device. Can you see the difference? The ones who are inventing it, designing it, the exterior, the internal circuitry, the processor, the programming of it, okay, the CS people. Yeah? IT people, the users of it, the practical users of that technology invented by CS engineers. What does this say? It says ICT or IT professionals are those who make practical use of the technology invented by CS engineers. Yeah. So now, if you look at it, we can say it safely that IT personnel or IT people are those people who have the right skill, okay, in terms of using computers and the various software that is there on it in different situations in everyday life, be it, in business, be it in art and design, graphics designing, web page development, teaching, uh, government departments, banks, airline companies, you name it. Do you believe that all these fields require use of computers? Yes. Do you believe that in all these fields, a sound knowledge of use of computers and software will always be helpful? The answer is yes. Okay. So, a person who has to use technology on a day-to-day basis to work efficiently, all right, and get things done in a proficient manner on a day-to-day basis because they have a very good know-how of technology, how machines work, and how software works. Do they really need to know as to how the internal working of the computer goes on? What is the make of the processor? How was the processor programmed? Do they need to know that? They don't. They don't need to know that. They don't have to get into the details of the working of the hardware. अगर मुझे एक कंप्यूटर के ऊपर on the computer if I want to get a certain task done, do I really need to know the internal working of the computer in terms of hardware? No. If I'm using a program, any random program, we took the example of Microsoft Word, do I really need to keep on thinking about how was Microsoft Word created while I use it? No. I just have to know which feature does what. Do I know that feature? Yes, I do. If I do, I can use it for solving my problem. It is as simple as that. Right? So, if you look at it now in nutshell, do you think that this particular statement that we see here that says ICT or IT professionals are those who make practical use of the technology invented by CS engineers, is it justified? Yeah? Okay, let's have a look at one more thing. And we'll just continue with this discussion a bit more. So, in terms of defining both, in summary, computer science focuses on the theoretical aspects of computers, algorithms, and software development. Whereas information technology, on the other hand, focuses on the practical implementation, management, and support of technology systems within organizations. Both have their own specific roles. Yeah. If we were to sum it up at the end, if you look at the last paragraph, if we want to conclude it in a very simple way, what does it say here? It says, both fields are integral to the tech industry and contribute to its growth and innovation. The choice between CS and IT depends on what your interests, career goals, and preferred areas of focus are. Nothing really to choose between the two, okay? Both have their own domain in terms of what these fields allow you to do. What kind of a professional do these fields, make you become? And then once you become that professional, what is the kind of task or what is the kind of activity that you will most likely to be involved in while you do a certain job that relates to either CS or IT? All right. So if maybe programming is your cup of tea, if research is something that interests you, if invention is something that interests you, if you want to understand machines at the core of it in terms of its hardware and its working, okay, and if you want to develop programs, you want to become a software developer, you want to develop programs, then CS would be the field. But if you want to be one person who is not really interested in the underlying principles behind the working of a machine, the technical aspect of it, you do not want to design new things, but what you really want is that whichever field you are in, okay, whichever field, whether you become a doctor or you become a lawyer, you become a banking and finance professional, you become a businessman, you go to media, okay, uh, you go to fashion designing, any of these fields, okay. If you want that in all of these fields, whichever of these you go to, you want yourself to be tech savvy in the sense that you want to develop a certain comfort level with the machine in terms of how to use it, just how to use it, and how to make use of so many different types of programs that are out there to get your things done in an efficient manner on a day-to-day basis that would give you a competitive advantage or edge over your colleagues. If you are tech savvy, you have a certain comfort level with the machine, you are well versed with making use of many programs, okay? And it's not that you know those programs, I mean, that, okay, you say that, okay, yes, I can work in them. You actually understand them to the core in the sense that if you are confronted with a problem in everyday life, in whatever field that you're in, what if you know exactly which tool to use on the computer to solve that problem? That is being skillful or having the right skill to be able to get on with things and be able to do them in a proficient manner on a day-to-day basis, whichever field or profession you go in. All right? Does that make things a little clear in terms of, you know, computer science and IT, the difference between the two and what these fields have to offer? Now, a couple of more things, just a couple of more things. Um, there might be a question in your mind about, well, what if right now I do ICT and later on I become interested in programming? Will I be able to do that or not? The answer is very much yes. At such an early stage of your academic life, which is start of O levels, it doesn't really matter whether you do computer science or ICT. Yes, I should say that there are some subjects that computer science would be more in line with, a certain combination, but there would be certain other subjects that ICT would be more in line with. That is also a fact. Like your career counselors or the advisors would have told you, based on your selection of subjects in O levels, which one suits you better, whether it is computer science or ICT. Well, you can do it now. It's not a problem, but it does not close your doors for the other area. That is what I want to say. And why do I say that? Well, I say that because of one reason. And what is that reason? Usually, when it comes to computer science is opted by usually those students who are interested in pure sciences and they feel that their future field is going to be engineering, some sort of engineering, be it electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, it could be any other form of engineering, architecture, aeronautical engineering, automotive engineering, you name it. Okay? And along with that, computer engineering or software development and programming. Then computer science is more in line with the engineering side. But when it comes to all other fields, if it is not engineering of any sort, okay, all of the fields ICT would be more suitable, because if it is about engineering, and particularly electronic engineering, okay, I should say particularly computer science or computer engineering, then you would have to have a know-how of programming. Our programming is all about. But if you are not going to become a computer engineer, or you're not going to become a software developer, if you do not want that, if you think that that's not your area of expertise, or that is not something that interests you, then there are what tens of other fields as well, which I just talked about. Okay? Now, in all those fields, do you think you will be needing to do programming at any step or at any stage? No. अगर आप फैशन डिजाइनर बनते हैं, आपको प्रोग्रामिंग की कोई जरूरत है? अगर आप ग्राफिक्स डिजाइनर बनते हैं, would you be needing know-how of programming? Doctor, lawyer, banking and finance, business, any kind of business, you do not need to be a programmer for that. But yes, what you should have would be a decent computer skill. You should be good at using the machine practically, in terms of all sorts of, I should say, applications and programs that are out there that you can use. Now, let's talk about, so many content creators that are out there. There are many content creators on social media who are doing wonders, and they are minting money. Yeah? Now, how are they doing that? How do you become a good content creator? If you have good know-how of use of technology. But do all these content creators need to know how to program a mobile phone or a computer? No. You see what I'm trying to say? Yeah? Let me give you another example. Fashion designing. Do you know who are graphics designers? Yeah, graphics designers design graphics for different industries, right? Like if we talk about the clothing industry only. These days, do you know that all these leading clothing brands, they actually have an in-house graphics designer who designs all the latest designs and prints for them on the computers using software. Using the right graphics designing software to be able to come up with all those amazing designs, and so many of them. And it's a nice paid job. You can even freelance to become a graphics designer. You can attach yourself with some brand as well. All right. Now, what does this kind of a field require? Now, does it require you to be able to program? No. But yes, it does require you to have a nice skill when it comes to using graphics editing programs or graphics creation programs. That's just skill based. Yeah. No need to know the internal working of the computer, or how was that graphics program, who created that graphics program that you're using. But yes, you only need to know how to efficiently use that graphics software to be able to come up with all those amazing designs that you have been hired for, and that's what you're being paid for. Yeah. So many examples that I've given you here right now. All right. So one last thing to sum it up all together. Later on in life, after having done your O levels, and then leading up to A levels, you do your A levels, and then you get into your. It's a little too early to talk about this, but I just want to put this CSIT debate into perspective. So you'll just get to know in a bit what do I mean by this. So later on, you'll get into your university. All right. Now, say for instance, there's a student who does ICT in O levels and IT in A level, right? And later on develops some sort of an interest towards programming and computer engineering. The question would be, would you be able to get into a program related to engineering, such as computer engineering and software development? What do you think? Would you be able to? The answer is you will very much be able to, based on what? Excuse me. Not based on whether you would have done ICT or computer science in OA levels. You would get into any good engineering university based on maths and physics. The requirement to get into engineering programs that includes computer or software engineering, the prerequisite is not you having done ICT or computer science. The prerequisite to getting admitted is maths, particularly maths, and then in some cases, it's a combination of maths and physics. Having done IT or computer science would just be an added advantage, but it would not make or break your admission into an engineering program. So, you can always change your track, you can always change your plan, provided you would have done maths and maybe maths and physics in O levels and A levels. Then you can switch. So it is based on having done maths and maybe maths plus physics, and not whether you have done computer science or IT, on the basis of which you will get into a computer engineering school. Yeah. But having said this, one last thing, if you would have done computer science and you would have gotten into an engineering university or an engineering program with computer engineering, software development, having done computer science would be an advantage, all right. We cannot deny that. If you would have done IT at that point, it would not be of that much advantage as computer science would be. Yeah, because you are going into an engineering program. So, and if it relates to computers in any way, then of course, if you would have done CS in O levels and A levels, it would definitely benefit you. Benefit you in the sense that you would already have a know-how of the subject. But if without having done that, आपने maths or physics किया हुआ है and you get into the engineering program, will you be able to cope up? Of course you will be able to cope up, because at any university or in any new program at the university, they start from scratch. They will start teaching you the programming concepts from the very start. They will not base their teaching or their program on whether a student has done CS in O levels and A levels or not. They would base it on scratch. All right, so they will start from the very basics. Some universities would offer a foundation course to begin with, and then the regular program, others will start it right away. All right, so that's the way it is. That is how you look at the overall difference between computer science and IT, the prospects of both the subjects in terms of academics, what could be the right combinations. Okay, so if we again go by the last line, both fields have a scope, both have requirements, both have progression. All right, it just depends upon what you would do, okay, or which is best for you. Totally depends upon what your interest area is. What is it that you like? What is it that you would like to do? Then according to that, you would make a choice whether it is CS that you want to do, computer science, or do you want to stick to ICT or IT. Is that clear? Okay, that's great.